I'm going to teach you how to plant some radishes and some Swiss chard in some containers that are being upcycled from things you might normally throw away at home. I'll start with this container right here. I already put a little slice in it to make it easier to start. Be very careful when you do this. Now this is off, we don't need it anymore. I'm going to walk over here to the lawn to put some pukas in the bottom because we need to make sure that there's good drainage for the starting plants. Okay, got a hammer, got a nail. And then the nail pulls right out, not too hard. Okay, back to the table. This soil right here is very moistened already. It's also very loose soil. It has a lot of organic matter in it. You don't want your plants to be in compacted soil. That means soil that's been pressed down and it's hard, because the roots will have a really hard time growing through that. And it really helps the starting seeds. Okay, now we're going to add our soil. We want to put the soil all the way to the top. As I mentioned, it's already moist. Perfect for starting seeds. You can tell by if you hold it together like that, but then it easily crumbles. That's perfect. Like a wrung out sponge. Oops. Normally you'd want to use sterile soil from the store that you buy, but because these are different times, we're going to use what we have available and try to make it have plenty of organic matter so it is nice and loose. Organic matter like compost or dried leaves, other things like that you can add to your soil. Okay, so now we have our 2 pots ready to go. The soil is moist. We're going to start with the Swiss chard. This is Swiss chard. Okay, we sent home some directions, but you'll start with putting in a seed. The seeds are medium size. They're not huge like a bean, they're medium in size. So we're going to leave this Swiss chard to grow in this pot. So we don't want to put too many seeds. We don't want it to be overcrowded and have to compete. So in this case, we're going to use our pinky joint, because that's about a 1/2 inch. Right in the middle, right to the joint. Drop in a seed. And cover it up. I have a regular watering can here, and this is a watering can that we just made from a jug we had at home. Again, we used nails to poke holes in the top and a couple holes on the sides so the water will flow. So we're going to give it a good watering. You don't want the watering to be too hard and push the seed out. So this is pretty gentle, and make sure that it gets nice and soaked. That signals the seed to start sucking up the water, and then that will split and it will begin to germinate and grow. Okay, so that's pretty nice and wet. You can feel how heavy it is. Kind of want to water until some water starts to come out down throughout the bottom. Okay, so that is our Swiss chard. The next one we're going to do is radishes. Radishes are a little smaller seed and take up a little less room than the Swiss chard. So same thing, we're going to go to our pinky joint. We're going to put in 4 pukas here. It's a little close, but I think it'll work out okay. We're going to take out our seeds. It's really important you don't plant them too deep or too shallow. If they are too deep, they'll rot and they won't survive. If they're too shallow, they'll get washed out and they won't survive. Okay, there's 1, 2, make sure it's not too deep, 3, and 4 seeds for the radishes. I'm going to cover that up. Okay, same thing, go back and give it a good water. Want to make sure they stay evenly moist while the seeds are germinating and starting to grow. Once you see them growing, you don't have to water quite as much. So I can see water coming out to the side, so I know it's going through the bottom. Now I made a couple things to put on here because the roots don't like to be in sunlight. So I recycled a paper bag we had. And I'm just going to cover this. I'm just covering the pot so that, because it's transparent, it won't get too hot inside. So there you go. So we have what it is and the date we planted it. Okay, we're not going to transplant that. We're going to just let it grow in this pot right here that we just made. Okay, same thing for the radishes. Okay, there you go. So you can monitor them. I used the Sharpie on the paper. Okay, so it wouldn't wash off. Next thing we're going to do is put the plants out here in a nice sunny spot in the yard. Make sure they get at least 6 to maybe 10 hours of sunlight a day at least. So make sure that they stay moist until you see them start to grow. But this is my little garden at home, and I like to start plants and things that I find around the house. I hope it goes well for you. Let us know if you have good luck.